hoping that things can at least start on the right foot on their map pick of Dust2, which, I mean, is the only one I can look at in that veto that might favor them.
We'll have to see if they can do it. We'll see if they can match up against the firepower. There's a lot of ferocity over on this MOUZ side, looking to show here in Dallas that they are very much in contention for the major. It's interesting as we get into this pistol round. I had a chat with Cyclone in Copenhagen when they were headed out of that event. And he was very frank about it, very clear. Their expectation is to win the major this year. And so if they could prove that they are championship caliber here in Dallas, it'd be a heck of a way to get into form, to show that they've got what it takes to lift that largest of trophies here in the game of Counter-Strike. Fast play up the catwalk, taking the space here for BCG, but it's a nade to clean out Sausalito, and now shots firing downrange from Brolan has given them a massive advantage. It's a firing squad, it's a shooting gallery. There's nothing that BCG can do.
Yeah, BCG just wiped off the face of Dust2 in that round. Zershin getting a couple for himself. As we wait for the second round to get underway. Yeah, just looking a little bit more onto the maps, of course. Yeah, Mirage, I just want to talk about them. Going to be leaning towards MOUZ, of course, and then if we get to it, we will have a map number 3 of Ancient, which MOUZ haven't lost on in their last 8 outings. So yes, it does really come down to this map. Just wanted to reinforce that point, guys. BCG absolutely need to find a win here on Dust2.
You know what I see right now, John? I see 5 unarmored pistols, thinking about venturing into tunnels, and I see an MP9 in lower and an MP9 ready to push on through from B.
Yes.
What I'm seeing is just a pincer of 1,000,000 bullets coming out of those MP9s.
Potentially. I imagine MOUZ doesn't want to over-aggress too much here, but maybe you're right, Mike. You see
Zershin likes to push.
Up. Yeah. Jim Fat's with him.
A little bit of the spice.
Oh, he backs off, though.
I don't see anything. Now, this could actually get interesting, right? Because if they do, if Jimpa does overextend here... Okay, just sees the one player, and at this point they realize that nothing else is out on the map because they've gone exploring. So Torshi is going to come back to support because where else could these guys be? So the initial idea was interesting, but now they've overplayed it. And they will all die. And it will be very nice and clean for MOUZ.
Yeah, I definitely don't mind the idea. We always like to see some creativity on those rounds where you're just stuck with the pistols instead of just throwing them away and running into what will be ultimately a blender if you try to charge into any bomb site. So yeah, I mean, waited for an engagement. We're hoping that they could come out on top in a potential 5v1. Doesn't happen, and after that point, the jig is up, and, well, BCG just take care of business. So MOUZ take care of business. 2-0 in favor of MOUZ. And we'll be on the bonus now up against the AKs. If these MP9s can ring true, this will be even better for the MOUZ squad. Sausalito, Cypher, and Nexa lining up towards mid, trying to take this space, and they absolutely will. Not really challenged at all by MOUZ. They're giving them the space to work with. They just want to play the bomb sites. That's surprising not to have the MP9s up close. So yeah, it's surprising. You do have Brolan up close. I was going to say with an MP9 at long, but actually that's a FAMAS.
Brolan's starting to take that space. He's pushed on through, so now there's going to be a little bit of a flank on this. The path through Cat is their easiest access point, but that's just been smoked, so that might stall them out. Now there's a player coming looking. Oh boy, thinks that he's cleared it. There's the spot. Just puts the doubt in their mind. 50 seconds. We got to pick what they're going to do pretty soon here. Have some smokes to maybe go for a split on towards B, but 2 players coming back, trying to clear out Brolan just by leaving. He has now bled so much time off the clock.
Next, there it is. All right, opener on to Brolan. 5v4, knock. Finding one, Sausalito as well, and here we go. BCG looks like they'll be able to get that first one on the board early.
Yes, nicely done. Forces the save out from MOUZ. They made enough money in the prior rounds that if they can save these guns, it should be workable in the next. But But that is a great way to get started here for BCG. Time is starting to get really short. Honestly, maybe Brolan overcommitting there into the fight out towards long. If there was a flashbang or something to support, that could have been the absolute shutdown. But as it was, MOUZ losing their initial engagements in this control of A. BCG, they get through with 5 alive.
All right.
It's good to see Cypher back on land. Talk about a guy.
Yeah.
He was one of these players who exploded through at the Paris Major. Really made a name for himself. Was super exciting, dynamic player. And then unlock a lot of that class of players who found their opening moment there. Just wound up on a lot of teams where he couldn't really show his stuff. For one reason or another.
It's another big stage now, so maybe this will be his opportunity to really show his stuff once more.
Though again, visa issues not allowing the teammate that you wanted to be here having a stand.
That's true. I mean,
this dude is very snake bit in his career.
He really is.
You would like something to break his way for once.
He's such a good player too.
Can be a very dynamic space taker. Missed shot there for Torji. Double tips, misses again. And he will not be afforded the third miss. So that is a troubling round for Torji. Let's see if his teammates can compensate for it. Damage done so far, but Brolan and Xerxin both a little bit low, trying to fight behind these smokes. Cashing the risk of a lot of spam allows Spinks to get closer. Now playing the angles. No bomb planted just yet, but retake util's not great. They won't have another smoke for this cross, so they need to make sure the C4 doesn't wind out in the open. It's actually no more util at this point for BCG, but they'll get it done with the guns. It comes to Spinks in a clutch. He's not got the health. He's not got the chance at the round. Nice kill from Nexa. And a nice scream from Cypher.
Yeah, Cypher getting pumped up there, as he needs to be, right? Like, they want to try and get as much energy as they can in the early goings, especially as mentioned on Dust2. And this is just Torji looking really rough with the op, let's say, because you got to hit at least one of those 3 shots, and he can't get anything. Then he tries to fade away, and he just does not survive. His teammates cannot compensate for his loss, and I actually appreciate... It's a lot, yeah. Really loud, our BCG, but I appreciate their patience as well, not trying to rush the bomb down, waiting for the smoke to fade, hoping and thinking they're going to have the advantage once it does, and they were absolutely right, rewarded for said patience, and they tie up the scoreline at 2 as a result and break the economy of MOUZ.
Cheeky boost. Not quite going to find it. Have to immediately disassemble because, yeah, so many HEs chase it. You would have been vaporized had they stuck around. Langle over the smoke. Sassanito out of bullets, keeping himself alive by tucking into the corner, and Cypher coming to save the day. I think that was enough of an escape from death that Sassanito will actually be starring in the next Final Destination movie.
These movies always creep me out, Mike. I'm never a fan.
I've never driven behind a logging truck the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
But have you seen the Jim Fott 1v5 USP clip where he hops up on the box, actually routes himself into CT, and dies instantly?
I always love how you like to try and talk those into existence, Mike, but just
look,
absolutely no
for the 999 times where it doesn't happen, no one's going to go back and watch the clip. But the one time that it hits, that clip will be legendary.
You're playing the long game, Mike. I love it. All right, well, BCG up to 3. They got the boost going on in dark. Decide to abandon it. Lots of bodies here on the MOUZ side towards long A. As Cypher creeps his way in towards lower along with 2 of his teammates. They're trying to take this space. Again, not really much contention of it by MOUZ. They're playing very passive on their holds, which allows BCG to really gain the space pretty easily. There's a nade that's going to make life a little more difficult for them. And, you know, they're gambling a little bit on that long stack with 2 players committed to it, expecting BCG to go there, but they really haven't so far.
Hitting the pause button for BCG. Inch down below a minute. They have bled out a lot of the utility for MOUZ.
There's only 2 left. Wow.
Just flashes at this point. Means that this patience has been rewarded. Molotov at the back of B, but at this point, they could go either way. It's still very much open. Without the long control, you'd imagine this is a split B. Xerxin tries to block that smoke. Might have created a gap for Torji. Gives himself a chance to play around it. Now Spinks activates. And the Spinks Xerxin combo will combo to lock down mid. A swing back through the door for Xerxin. He is taking command right here and now, and Knock running out of time. He's to take his chance to try and get that C4 planted down. Quick scope, unsuccessful. And Xerxin stacks on his 4th kill of the round.
Wow, well done for Xerxin there, finally coming through and dealing that killing blow that MOUZ were desperately looking for, having the individual stand up, and look at this, I mean, working his way around the smoke. Spinks supporting well on top of it, but after Spinks goes down, Xerxin's right there to get the instant trade and denies any space into that B site, leaving last player stranded and alone on an island. You see the celebration there. MOUZ feeling good. The patience paying off in that one as we're tied up at 3. BCG still enough money though to get the buy up going here. Knock hoping for an opener towards that B side. He had the spawn for it. There's the nade though. It's going to do a ton of damage. Oh my goodness.
Oh, the timing on that is perfect, but what a shot from Cypher! Snappy! That's that aggressive space taker we were talking about. That's that X factor that Cypher brings into the server, and now that bomb's going to be planted. It's going to be a save right away from MOUZ. Cypher just won that. Full stop. That's a brutal reality of Dust2. You lose the B site with numbers against you, it's over. Too bad, so sad. Play again next time.
Feels a lot like Inferno in that sense, on that A site. Different letter, same result. As it's going to be BCG right back to their winning ways, and trading blows are BCG and MOUZ, so it's a great start, in fact, here for the BCG squad, which are definitely the underdog.
This is the map where we expect them to be punchy.
It
They're
is.
coming out and they're showing that they're not going to play afraid. They're playing with the tempo. They're going for these faster plays. Cypher getting this dynamic entry, the straight up B play. They're getting these slower rounds where they take a little bit of control, then they sit and wait for MOUZ to dump the util. They're playing with the clock. They're playing with the time. They're playing with MOUZ's expectations. That's exactly what Nexus said. The element of surprise is their biggest asset here. MOUZ, when they were prepping for this event, when they were thinking about their opponents, yeah, they knew PCG would be here.
Oh, Cypher.
Of course they do their prep. But their eyes were on bigger prey. Right now, Cypher is showing that he might just be a little too much to stomach. Nice response, though. Nade bot, take out that one player, reassert your control towards long. The response would have been to take space towards mid, but BCG haven't quite found it just yet, and now Torji's on the angle. Does he have vision on the Xbox jump up? No.
Re-smoking long here. Our MOUZ, that's Xerxin. Actually going to back off long. I think play car, potentially? No. They're leaving long a little bit open, or maybe he just wanted to have a look towards CT. Either way, It is going to be Knock striking true on Torji, wins the op-v-op duel. Now you have that man advantage in favor of BCG. Spinks and Xerxin looking to reinforce mid, but that's not the right call. It's going to come towards Cat. Now they're out of position. This is going to get tough. Xerxin trying to readjust here, looking for the heads. Doesn't really find them, and Prime Taps activates at a perfect moment to strike 2 down to the ground. Jimfat just going to save the AWP. Oh my goodness, BCG.
They're cooking now. They're cooking now. Cypher's finding the entries, even when he then loses that advantage. They take the moment. They take the right time. And a troubling factor here for MOUZ is one guy who has been a lot more reliable for them, especially this year. Torji has really stepped to the forefront. Has been able to deliver for them on that scope. It's having a little bit of a flat start here. It's nothing dramatic just yet, but we had that one clip out towards long range. A couple dips in and misses his opportunities. We have him losing the fight here through the mid doors. Jimmy will not be allowed to hold on to this AWP, so unlikely to see one in the following. He said you're getting outplayed or outflanked by CCT players.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Prime Taps. I was not familiar with your trash-talking game.
I was not either. Wow, alright. I love it.
These guys on a LAN setup. Here we go, gamers.
Get them into... I don't know. It's fantastic. Love to see that coming through. Trying to get into the heads of MOUZ.
I mean, certainly MOUZ not a team known to have a bulletproof mental.
No, definitely not. So I'm
gonna make this happen. It's not a bad strategy to bring to the table.
That is just so funny. Sorry. Prime Taps. Well done.
My self-aware king. Xerxin. He's just playing the fade, or is he getting cheeky through it? They went for double push tunnels. They didn't see anything. Xerxin actually backs away, expecting that maybe a player would have gone through, and then he would have had the opportunity for the quick flank. Instead, now it's just one pistol. Destroyed. The second. Deagle on the angle. Util giving them a little bit of a curtain through here. Prime Taps erasing his teammates, but Xerxin has a chance to make a stand. That chance quickly slips away from him. Jimbut. He's got this AK. He knows they're going to hunt. Knows he has to fight forward. Doesn't expect Nog to be that close to the corner.
Yeah, nothing really Jimpat could do in that situation. Just have to accept your fate as BCG pull even more into the lead. Obviously, that's just an eco coming through with some upgraded pistols in the mix, but it was well handled by BCG, finding the opener, and then Prime Taps takes care of business again for another double. Even though it loses the battle to Jimpat, at that point he's done the damage he has to ensure that no one really can come through and disrupt that attempted take to the A site, so his teammates walk on. Yes, there's one player to deal with, but it's really not that much of an obstacle when you've got the numbers just blitzing forward in that direction.
It's great to see BCG going in with this much fire.
Yes.
I mean, this is a team that's had to deal with such rough situations, right? Benching Jacob for outside of the game situations, bringing in Perfecto, supposed to be that next guy, never getting to play an official with Perfecto. He can't make it to the event. Okay, we got Sasanito back in here, and they're making it work. They're making it work. It's still early days, certainly. But if you took the nameplates off these two teams, you would be expecting that BCG were the more experienced roster based on how these rounds are opening. What? And again, Prime Taps can't quite find the kill on player mid. So this round's not lost yet. Spinks is able to regain some space, but look at the util that MOUZ have to work with. They have one more Molly and HE on Xerxin. And otherwise, the utility belt is totally depleted. Torji has that all back up, and if they're going to come his way on catwalk, he's got to show us why he has this. He has to show us what he could do here.
He's been silent so far. Naka's gotten the better of him. He's missed a lot of shots. This is an important opportunity for Torji to shine if they even decide to go in this direction, which with time whittling away, you imagine that they have to.
Cypher's going to check it. Is there a flashbang for this?
There is. They don't
just peeks out. He just wins the fight. Straight up. No flash necessary. Just all Cypher all the way. And now this bomb's getting planted. And unless they overextend into this long fight against Brolan, I don't know that there's a way back into this for MOUZ. This is going from bad to worse. And again, Torji caught slipping.
It was a good peak, to Cypher's credit. I mean, he played that really, really well. But yeah, Torji's got to be better than that. He's got to be better than that for MOUZ if they want to find victory on this map in particular. And it's 7-3 in favor of BCG, who have really taken control. The energy has completely gone out of MOUZ's sails, and it's been transferred over to BCG. A little bit of trash talk in the mix. It's been fun CS to watch. No questions asked. But now,
I got questions.
Yes.
Which is, MOUZ, you think you're supposed to be a top team in the world.
I mean, yeah.
Talking about winning the major. You're talking about contending with the Vitalities, the Falcons, the Spirits of the world. Gotta handle the BCGs first.
Look, we already talked about BCG potentially having a significant edge here on Dust2. I don't know if I expected it to be this big. And, I mean, look, MOUZ could still close the gap here as we're entering the last 2 rounds of this first half of action, but...
I mean, I think you couched it well, John, when talking about the difference in competition level.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be taking, you know, ecstatic to overtime in an online tournament versus playing Dust2 against Vitality in a BO5 grand final. It's a little bit of a different ball game.
Absolutely. And that's exactly the point I made earlier, and I was just trying to lead into it again. You took the words out of my mouth. Honestly, let's see if BCG can continue doing it here. MOUZ. Man. I mean, you're going on to Mirage afterwards, and what better map to potentially find an upset victory as well than Mirage? Okay, let's get back on that, though, and let's focus.
We're focusing on the here and now. We're locking in, because Spinks is trying to lock in some kills. He's been trying to reclaim space. He's been trying to paper over the deficiencies in this defense at times. And this time he finds some advantage, but he can't hold on to the space by the doors, has to yield it. Part of that is because of how little utility they have. This has been the perpetual struggle for MOUZ, right? Once you get behind the pale on CT, it is just tough to get the nadage that you need. Spinks jump spotting here. Flashbang to go over, but a kill will do just fine. Brolan takes another, and this one's looking good for MOUZ. Finally, we needed this. And Jimmy from the back of the platform, he finds the next. Plucks away Prime. Taps leave it all onto Nexa, who looks for damage. Damage matters here. And Nexa will be bringing some in spades, but Xerxan stems the bleeding.
Yeah, I think that's a great round from Spinks as well. I mean, really denying the space that was trying to be gained by BCG on those first frags. Like, right there. Just takes down Sassanito and then rotates around in towards window in order to drop a second one. Right when Cypher was trying to set up a pincer into that B site, one piece is lost and you're only left with Nexa, who does, to his credit, at least do a little bit of damage, but MOUZ were in full control of that round from start to finish thanks to Spinks. So now we move in to the final round of this half. Cypher's trying for an opener and gets it again. Is that Molotov going to take care of him? No, it does not, but it does so much damage. Down to 11 HP. Are they going to expect Xerxan? They do, but Cypher loses the battle, and all 4 players are stuck here. Xerxan has the nade as well. Oh my goodness, this is going from bad to worse, but Nexa does manage to get him. But look at the HP bars, Mike.
The trap. They're all hemmed in. And now at this point, Spinks is up on the flank, which is why Torji backs away. He knows he just needs to play contain here. And another nade sailing through. This one can't escape. But maybe sticking around a little too long in that fight. Spinks gives them an opportunity back. That may not expect Jimmy to be back on the same angle. That's what he's counting on. He's hoping they'll try and reroute. They still have a minute. They still have plenty of time. They could leave. There's still 2 mollies here. Torji committing into the car, but this one won't spread quite deep enough. And BCG hitting the pause button, hoping that somebody's going to make the move. Somebody's going to give them an easy path towards a site. And it's going to be Torji, committed there by the car. Prime taps, finds him, and now this flank, it doesn't matter because they're gone from the front. Look at Prime taps, he's so ready. He's so ready for this peek from Jimmy. But he's not ready on the trigger. Can't find the headshot, and so Jimmy instead moves forward. 1v1. Kid available. In fact, this is why they brought him into the roster, to win moments like this up against Nexa. But Nexa, a slide out from the box, and it's 8 rounds for the half. The surprise of the day way here in Dallas as BCG come out screaming on Dust2 to the tune of 8 rounds in the first half. MOUZ under pressure here, John.
And the one who is at the top of the scoreboard here for BCG is not the one I expected here, Mike. Prime taps 10 frags, leading the way for his squad. And he just feels like he's energized, trash talking, feeling good. Energy is there, and they've got an 8-4 lead. It is unreal here. Nexa hoping to find one. He does not. Zershin going to take him down, and that could lead to an A execute off of the opening frag. It absolutely does, and this is trending pretty well for MOUZ.
It is indeed. They came out hot in their last half too, right?
Yeah.
Firing the pistols, making some noise, which makes what BCG did all the more impressive. However, if they were going to get back through, this would be a way to do it. I think Speaks might have had enough of that in the first half. And there is just no mercy given. Zershin fast into the fray. He loves a little bit of the T side. Talk about space takers. What Cypher rather was doing in the first. Zershin will be attempting here and now.
Absolutely. Yeah, Cypher's the opener on that T side, but Zershin, 31.3% attempts, 48.8% success rating, which is pretty good. I mean, considering how many attempts he takes, and a 1.16 rating leading the squad there. So we'll see if he can match Cypher blow for blow on this T side. There will be the rifles out already, 4 of them. In fact, 3 of them AKs. For the MOUZ side, and BCG are going to go for the fourth buy. It's already yielded a first frag. Sassanita is going to try and chase down that rifle off the ground.
That's retrievable. That's absolutely retrievable, because Torji could not risk trying to fight for it since he has the C4. It's getting interesting here, John. We got Nexa close up with a 5-7. Could risk doing something creative through the smoke.
Oh, they're not looking
Going
for
to.
it at all.
Is there a flashbang? Flashbang from the B players would be massive. Prime taps playing close around the smoke. Now Nexa can get out, but he is deleted in the player backside as well. Nice play here from Torji and Zershin. And if Torji can get a little action going, even if it's on the rifle, be very happy indeed. Sausalito never expected Spinks. And so the round
I got you, boys.
ends well. He got you, boys.
He really does. No, that was a great response after that opening frag comes through for Sassanito, and then even Prime taps in the mix with the MP9 right on the edge of the smoke. Brolin not expecting it at all, but it's Torji who does indeed have his team under control, with MOUZ taking care of business on what could have been a lot scarier than it ended up being, and it's an important round for them to get too, showing that they calm, cool, and collected there.
Even if rounds you should have been winning, always good to make sure you actually do. And good as well to get a multi-kill for Torji. It's just been a quiet map by his standards. 2 for 1. Actually, they paid for none. Just comboed up a couple of those pistol players. They've identified the stack, but with the weaponry advantage they've got, they could just risk running into it. Not gonna do that just yet. Gain the space here on Cat. Nice flashbang takes out Prime taps, and well, it's just knocked with a USP.
This round's done. But yeah, no, Knock can't get anything. It's going to be a 7th for MOUZ. Just looking at the numbers for MOUZ again here, their CT round win percentage is actually pretty abysmal here on Dust2, 37.6%. So what they got in that first half is their usual performance on the CT side. T side is much better, as you alluded to, Mike. 57% of their T rounds are wins, and you already see the way they're executing, the confidence they have in the early parts of this half is trending really well for them. Now, though, the guns will come out, and we'll see the response that BCG can have as they call a timeout to talk things over.
Yeah, the most immediate MOUZ Dust2 that comes to mind ended with a Zershin 1v4 to close. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. They're hoping they won't need one of those, but if they do,
Of course. Yeah.
we know he's capable. You know, one thing
half
that's fun to
was-
track is the habits of coaches as they stand behind their teams. Some coaches like to sit on the chair. Some coaches pace. Cyclone like a statue. Always ready. Comes in for the shoulder rub sometimes. But Prime straight back to coaching form at all times. Double push-up cat here for BCG. This is going to be the aggressive element. They're setting up with Nexa playing anti. But Molotov rumbles that setup immediately. Means that there's no long presence for the moment, and these mollies are making life uncomfortable. Cypher, though, goes aggressive through the doors. 1-for-1 on it, and it all peering through. Flashbangs timely. Nock was getting very close to sniffing something out, but as he tries to retake the space, that was a mistake. The repeat is costly, but Nexa shows why maybe it's tempting to go for. Nexa might have just tipped the balance of this round. Now these long players, they need to get some motion going, and they do indeed. A smoke to guise their cross. The bomb can make its way over. Jimfad can hold on to this long control, which is well timed because Nexa's running in, and Jimmy hears this every step of the way. That is the freest of free kills. So falls to Prime, taps to try and clutch this up. Knows he has isolated fight on the site while this player from long tries to get activated back in. Satorji is just baiting. Trying to keep him at bay, holding his teammate just enough time to get back into the fight, get back into the angle, and Prime Taps are realizing it, knowing he doesn't have a kid, knows that this is getting away from him, still expects the player out towards long, but Jimmy has slipped in towards Goose. And as Prime Taps drops down, well, he's already out of time. Never gave himself enough time to actually stick that. So the round will go the way of MOUZ.
Yeah, I'm not even
Knot
sure.
it up.
Not even sure. Okay, Jim Fat goes down to the bomb, so that's something there for BCG to celebrate. But I'm not even sure if he meant to drop down in that situation. Just might have gotten away from him a little bit as he's getting through that smoke and falls down towards CT, doesn't win a fight, and, well, that's going to do it for the round. So tied up at 8, even though MOUZ lose every single player in the round, it won't hurt them too much, neither in economy nor in buy-up. 4 AKs and the AWP are going to come through. I loved that flash that was thrown, I think it was by Torji, in towards mid onto Nock. It was beautiful because it forces Nock off the angle, and as soon as he's gone, MOUZ take that space and don't allow him to peek in once more. He immediately is fragged. And there was an attempt at a recovery there mid-round by BCG, but it just doesn't happen, and MOUZ just had that control that they needed map-wise in order to get the bomb planted and secure the round victory. So now we're tied up once more from 8-4 to 8-8. Look at Spinks. Oh my goodness, what a punish.
2 on the line. Just all of the B control gone. If there's a smoke here for the cross, this round's over. It's probably over even if they cross dry, to be quite frank. But they'll just go through tunnels, save their smokes, rock their way on out. This round is done and dusted. Spinks confirms it.
Can't really blame BC.
Double push tunnels.
Yeah.
MOUZ are certainly fond of it themselves on the other side of things. So
Yes.
online from Spinks is purely designed to punish and, well, does so rather effectively.
Yeah, it's really nice. Just waiting for that to come through, and also expected for another reason, obviously, because BCG are on an eco, or a half buy more so, trying to get bits and pieces through, and usually in those type of situations, you want to get aggressive on your CT side, and Spinks waits for it and absolutely tears through those two players. So now Nock, Nexa, and Sassanito just going to try and save what they've got. It's going to be a couple of MP9s, a Deagle, and some body armor. Certainly worth keeping in their hands. And MOUZ are not too interested in chasing them down either. A little bit of a poke and a prod here up Cat, but as it stands, looks like everyone who's left alive here in this round will remain so into the next round.
I would like to cross left side tunnel.
MOUZ have their first lead, Mike, since their early start here on the map. It really was BCG taking control in the latter part of that first half, but this half, they have been denied even a single round victory so far.
5 in a row. But the guns are out. The AWP is out for Nock. And the boost is up for Torji. He wants this fight. Give it to me. Swing me. Peek me, he says. But the peek will not come. We'll smoke instead. You can tell MOUZ are expecting some sort of an aggressive maneuver, potentially coming through from BCJ. BCG, rather.
That's the one.
The other guy plays a different game. And here comes the smoke cross. There's 3 players on this side of the map, so it's decently positioned, and you've got the potential for aggression on catwalk. Players are in the right place to do something about this. But as they assemble this boost up over the cat smoke, damage on a Proline, but no kill found just yet. Torji instead finds the opener. Prime taps. Shut down this control, and time is starting to become an issue. 50 seconds. They don't have a lot of information. BCG continuing the aggression, though, on catwalk. That might have just given up the farm. As long as this bomb makes its way up cat successfully, this is surely going to be a save.
Yeah, they have to save it at this point, because look at Nexa and Sassanito. They have 3K, 3.2K approximately in each of their bank accounts. And okay, I guess Prime Taps didn't expect Spinks to be there. As he walks out into the upper tunnels, now this AWP, an important piece, and Nock realizes that he might have to fight for it because they are hot on his tail. This is going to be difficult.
I mean, there's plenty of cash flow at this point. These are some very rich mice. They got a lot of cheese. And they're trying to take what little Nock can hold on to. And indeed, he will be robbed. No cheddar for Nock. No op to be had.
Yeah, that's I appreciate the idea coming through there from BCG to try and aggress down cat, having spotted out all of those players in lower, but it just doesn't work. And it was right on the tail end of what you just saw. All of the AKs singing there for MOUZ. BCG just can't really fight for it now because, as mentioned, that Nexa and Sassanito had a lot of money. They're okay to get a buy-up. It would have been nicer if they could have saved a gun or two, but yeah, buy-up still is okay. Just utility takes a hit.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a kit.
Yeah. Surprised
Sassanito could have, actually.
One kit. Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, it is what it is. And what it is, it's not exactly ideal. Nexa under pressure. Molotov to force him out of position. Has to jump up, but he'll catch Torzy in transition. Commits into the flames. But right now, his teammates are ably defending. Bomb down with that hold towards long. Sassanito now gets another. It's got to be Spinks and Brolon. Capping that smoke. Not quite landing exactly where he'd like to shrink the distance. And Brolon holding court from on cat. Spinks doesn't realize what he's seen until too late. But he's capable of the clutch. Might have failed Brolon for the moment, but he succeeded in the round.
That is still so well done from Spinks. The last 2 players surviving there. You see the pressure that BCG were trying to apply. They just couldn't do it. Brolon, that's such a good isolation of Cypher. He plays the space he has well. Movement is solid. Yes, Spinks can't really save him, but it doesn't matter at the end with a beautiful flick. And you hear the comms.
Some frustration there.
Round. Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, you're going to feel better when you actually get the dub, but
of course.
Keeping this run going, there's nothing better than a win to solve any frustration you have with your own actions in a round. Look, reports of MOUZ's struggles apparently were greatly exaggerated. By us, mostly in that first half, because side swap and holy cow, this MOUZ is a different beast. This Ratatata went Raticate on us.
The evolution is real. 3-round lead. MOUZ now looking for a 12th, and I mean, half by coming through from BCG. It's actually pretty potent. The problem is util. They don't have any. 3 MP9s, the Deagle, and the A1S. Again, no kit available, which hasn't really factored in. There's the smoke coming through. MOUZ want to go fast here. They're already all the way down long.
I mean, look at how much room they've just been given for free. Why not? Oh, Sassanito doesn't realize. He realizes in time. He gets an inkling, but they're just right up here. It's too late. Khan goes skipping on down towards his teammates. So that's nice, at least.
Yeah.
But don't know if they're going to be able to put it to any use. Complete annihilation here. Well, I mean, at this point, it's just about stealing away some guns to try and fight against overtime. Because they've been totally blanked.
Yeah.
Nothing doing. Knock doesn't even have anything worth saving. Just a deagle. No sense throwing it away, I suppose. But he's gonna have to. Torji, use Hyper Fang.
Okay. A little bit of a laugh there.
They're cackling.
Yeah.
It's a cackle, John.
Gun flying is crazy. The physics in CS2 are pretty wacky sometimes.
Look, you've seen a kick-flipped AK, but have you seen a full 360 vertical rotation, whatever that's called, up the pipe?
Just make up words, Mike. That's what they always do with those types of tricks.
Sasanito trying to make this one possible, but an even exchange out towards long is not going to be exactly ideal. Knock will hold court, let them know that there's presence here and they can't just take long for free. I don't know that he exactly wants to dip back in for a peek. Cypher's trying to give them a little bit of space, but that smoke's a touch too wide. And now Spink's flashbang through, spots two. Can't kill either. But the nades can chase and make life very uncomfortable here for Knock. A swing in for Cypher. He had to collect, but he's burning. He's dropped on down. Had to give up the space. Cypher wants to make a play in the smoke. He's lost his upper. But Cypher, can he find his timing? Can he find his room? Prime Task might have made it possible. And Cypher can close. It comes right down to the clutch. But finally, BCG get their first round of the half.
That is just crazy. It's chaos, honestly, in the latter part of the round. You see them. Cypher was waiting in that smoke for a chance to strike. I thought for a moment he might be waiting for a bit too long and the rest of his team just going to melt around him. And the trades were really solid in the early goings, in particular for MOUZ, but it's this prime taps, like you said, finding Torji, opening up that space for Cypher to come through in an unexpected engagement, and it wins out the round. So life is here for BCG. Look at the util damage, Mike.
They're brawling. They're brawling. They're ready for it. Torji, it's a no-scope of all things. To even up the numbers, they've taken a lot of damage to take this ground early as BCG just wanted to fight them here and now. And Cypher up middle. Shot on desertion has now given his teammates a massive advantage, but Torji, he ain't missing anymore. Those early game struggles have long since been forgotten. He is lethal on the scope. Has found his footing, has warmed up into this server.
Felt like he gave himself a little bit of a nod of approval there. Like, yeah, there we go. Got it.
That's the way it's supposed to hit.
Exactly.
That's what it's supposed to do. And he's trying to distract. He's trying to keep their focus on him as they make their way up catwalk. Knock, critical kill. Had to be done. Player on the site, forced out. And Jimmy collects. But Jimmy's low. Without control of the catwalk, he has to just drop the smoke and trust. But Prime Taps goes straight through.
What?
Thought he might catch the player planting, but it's anything but. Now it's left to Knock to try and clutch. One kill already to his name. Might be a little bit further than they expect, but Torji always watching, always ready, and confirming Dust2 here for MOUZ. Once the side swapped, it was just all MOUZ all the way.
Yeah, I mean, we saw BCG on the last two rounds an attempt at a recovery. They started to pull things together and figure out. I'm assuming they picked CT side to start. And absolutely did. MOUZ, on the other hand, are probably happy to continue their T side. Like, look, we only lost one round, Dust2. Let's keep it going, guys. Charging on through. The pistol rounds were especially clinical for MOUZ. Didn't really look like they were fussed at all in either of them. And BCG are setting up on this A site. They've got the read, but they need the frags. There's the first, not the second. Zershin walks out, and so does Brolin. They've got two already, and there's only one player left defending the site. There is reinforcements that have arrived in the form of Knock, but I mean, they're just getting dropped one after the other.
Snappy shooting here. And on the edge of the smoke, Nexa at least, well, could give them a chance, but Zershin immediately sends some rounds through to chase and falls to Cypher with some dualies. He can wait until somebody plants this bomb. But actually, they're not going to give him the chance. I was going to say, could wait to see if one set of hands would be occupied, but didn't need to wait long at all.
Yeah, this is just a clinical take again on their pistol. Beautiful aim, honestly. All headshots coming through as they take control of this site, and they spot out every single angle that BCG are holding. So again, it's another pistol round victory, the third of the series for MOUZ, and we go into the second round. 4 spy for BCG. It features 3 MP9s, the 5.7, and the Deagle, and all, well, I wouldn't say all 5, but 4 of the 5 are going towards that B site, and looks like they want to get aggressive into mid and take some fights. Could catch MOUZ off guard here, Mike. Roland, yeah, gone. The second player is as well. Prime Tap's doing work. Xerxin gets a response, but he knows they're going to press him, and he does manage to get one more before he goes down into the grave. Now it's all up to 2, and now 1. Jimfat tries to do it, but he can't. The 4 spy works.
That's definitely a wow-worthy moment. Nice trap laid. Because there was the 3-man thrust up middle, MOUZ are expecting that there might just be a little bit of a space left behind B, right? They're expecting that these are all the B defenders pushing through. That's why you see the remaining MOUZ players accelerate out the apartments. The idea is that they're going to cache the space, but that was part of the trap. That was the second element. They risked a lot of space being allowed over towards A to still have a crossfire able to be set up here on B. And MOUZ walked right into the MOUZ trap. They couldn't resist that delicious cheese.
Too tasty.
Too tasty. Still, mid's been afforded to them in this round for MOUZ. Knock might pick his timing here. Has revealed himself. Cypher lost. Don't want to give this one right back. Certainly don't want to give this one right back.
Oh, no.
Gone. Couldn't get out of the window. Starting to get a little dire here. BCG. They're on their haunches. They're on their heels. And there's guns being picked up by the members of MOUZ.
I mean, technically both are recoverable, but they choose not to go into window.
I like this decision. Go for the stack. You've already messed up in this round. If they hit A, you're going to have a real chance to still win it. If they go B, oops, we're saving.
Looks like it'll be the oops we're saving.
Seeming very sure. Oops, we're saving here.
Yes.
Well, that's one way to respond to a nice force spy round for BCG, is to have one of your own.
Well, Xerxin knows where Assassinito is, but it cost him his life.
Guys, I found them. Boom.
I doubt MOUZ will do much more here. Maybe you have Spinks and Jimfat looking for some frags here and some upgrades.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of playing with house money, you know?
Yeah, exactly. There's that
BCG
gun in
would
window.
know something about
gone.
that.
Oh, no, it's there. Sorry. There you go. 3 rifles out of that round with 1 brought into it. That's not too bad.
Terrorists win.
That one's going to sting a lot for BCG, right? Because you're going into an anti-force spy situation. You just got the force spy victory on your side. You lose the first 2 bodies, and obviously you figure, okay, we're going to gamble towards the A site. Maybe it's going to work out. That's crazy from Brolin, by the way, through the smoke to get that one. But, I mean, look, at the end of it, like you said, they keep those guns alive. It makes another force spy very justifiable. As now there'll be the guns on the other side from MOUZ. Just when it looked like BCG would gain that edge, I think that's the biggest loss in that round. They don't get it.
Brolin's a little tagged. Otherwise, they've mostly got control of middle here. Perhaps wants to peer over the smoke. This is a risk. There's the pop, and that's the risk coming to fruition. Sausalito cannot die here.
Oh, yeah.
Dropped the bomb for a moment, but Sausalito trying to keep himself alive, repositioning here. As MOUZ start to wrap their tendrils around the A site, and it eases just Knock with any easy path to defending. He's tucked.
Brolin had a journey and a half to get to this site with the bomb on his back. Zershin spots out Sausalito trying to peek out. Knock is trapped. I mean, what can he possibly do?
They might
Probably
think this
gonna
molly cleared the corner.
Maybe, but I'm not sure.
They do. So there's an upgrade. Brolin's low. This isn't done. Nexa has a kit. Nexa is in apartments, though, so it is in fact done. The kit was never coming here.
I think just Knock surviving that is good enough in itself for BCG because he was in a very dire spot. I figured that MOUZ would have realized that that Molotov wasn't deep enough, but I guess they didn't, and Knock punishes them for it, gets an AK upgrade. But the round, well, the result's still going to be the same. A victory for MOUZ and a 3-1 lead.
Terrorists win.
2 and 4 saved again. The
Torres just keeping track of the economy there for the opponents. It is always interesting to get a feel for who are the vocal players, because as much as we talk about, you know, obviously the focus with the leadership in this MOUZ roster has been on Brolin's shoulders. But the reality is, in the modern game of Counter-Strike, there are very few teams where there's one true mastermind puppeteer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information and leading by synthesis and calling mid-rounds by synthesis, and especially you want your opera to be one of those strong voices, because so often it's going to be about how to enable that first strike off of the AWP. So Torji very vocal. You definitely hear it from Spinks and Zershin as well. Brolin, obviously the strongest of voice, the primary,
right,
especially in the freeze times, but there is much more of a diffusion of responsibilities. It's not as clean of a storyline as one leader as we sometimes like to paint.
No, for sure. I think that mid-round calling is very much distributed across the board. There's usually a couple of players who can come in and chime in those key moments, and I'm sure Brolin is one of them, of course. But anyway, it looks like they're going to get full control of this A site. Great set piece coming through. There is some damage done by Nexa. He gets one, but right back through the smoke. Jim Fat will punish him over onto Nexa, and that'll make it a 4v4. Molotov sails into jungle, and this is looking pretty rough for BCG. Obviously just walking into it with a couple of saved rifles, and everyone else is on an eco. So they are going to post up on the periphery here. Uh-oh, MAC-10's up close. This could be damaging here for BCG. And, well, they only lose one, actually. But there's Brolin right around that corner to deal another blow. 3v2. BCG still have a taste for this site. You'd think they want to save the AK.
They're buying in the next regardless.
Yeah, still it's an AK.
Just trying to make it expensive.
Oh,
my goodness,
what, is
Knox
there
got all the
time?
kills. He's got the kit. He has the kit. He has time. He absolutely does. I think he got there in time.
What?
He did. Knox snatches it away, and that's exactly why he stuck around. Called his own number, bet on himself, knew they'd be thinking it was a save, knew they'd be slipping off the site, and MOUZ getting a little ahead of themselves, leave the window open for a round to be stolen away.
I cannot believe that. And they all lined up for him as well. Knock, unbelievable play. I should have never second-guessed him. He knew what he was doing the entire time. Comes through and gets that second round on the board. Just unbelievable that we're even talking about a 3-2 scoreline when it absolutely should have been 4-1 in favor of MOUZ.
Yep, he was looking locked in.
Unacceptable for MOUZ.
Gonna stick in the crawl a little bit for MOUZ, but they can just get the dub here. They can forget about it immediately. Spinks out of play. Cypher getting aggressive here. Cypher gets a second, a third. How on earth has he done this? How has he stayed alive?
God.
So many crosshairs looking his way, and now MOUZ experiencing a full-on collapse. Life is back in this BCG roster. And Torji desperately trying to limit the damage, can do no such thing.
Wow. how quickly fortunes have turned here on Mirage. We were talking about MOUZ really taking control, and look at the kill feed, how quickly it came through for BCG. They just lined them up and knocked them down like dominoes. And we're tied up at 3. Eco for MOUZ. I mean, that round is just a gut punch for MOUZ. You gotta have your protocols a little bit better on the post plans. That's just ridiculous that 3 players are left alive and they're all not even watching the bomb or not even watching to see if someone's gonna peek out in that angle. Anyway, look, Cypher's gonna get another couple here. It should be a clean anti-eco for BCG, you'd imagine, even though Torshi does get one on Cypher.
Yeah, the question is, do you want to risk peeking back into this with the block?
He does.
Ouch! A bit of damage out the P250. Okay, let's get interesting. It's a 1v2. This is suddenly very interesting. Needs to chase to try to just hunt this down. Oh boy, Prime Taps got very low there. Considering that was just pistols, a little bit too much intrigue for BCG's taste.
I think they're really trying to try to assert their dominance here on the map and get really aggressive into the faces of MOUZ in these types of rounds. And yes, I agree, it almost costs them, but at the same time, you want to try to make MOUZ feel like they're on the back foot. So BCG, taking that risk, cost them a little bit of money, but they're fine here heading into this round. At least 3 A1Ss, the AK, and the AWP. And they want to try and have a peek towards mid again. No one really spotted yet, and of course, no one's home. A heavy lean for MOUZ in towards this A site. 3 palace, 1 ramp. They're going to try and pop out here and surprise this BCG squad, and they do. Jimfat gets the opener over onto Prime Taps. Reeling a little bit are this BCG squad. Nexa and Cypher, though, they're not reeling at all. They get 2, and Sassanito finds a 3rd. It's a 4v2 just like that.
Not done, though. Not done, though. Berlin looking to make some space, playing around the edge of the smoke. We'll find another. Here with Spinks, but the hop over that cost him, and now it falls to Spinks, who hasn't been able to get going on this map at all. The swing on out means he will be denied that much more.
Okay, well, I mean, this is the strong side for MOUZ as well here on this map. BCG 1 step closer to making the maximum amount of damage they can suffer, being 6 rounds. Of course, they're not thinking that. They're thinking about, how do we make this 9-3? How do we get a stranglehold on Mirage? Pistols are out for MOUZ. 4 techs, the Glock. 5 pieces of util to work with. Had 7, but they already used a couple of smokes from mid, and they're trying to charge. Okay, already it's working. Brolin finds the opener on Prime Taps. Waiting on the site, I believe, is Nexa, but it's going to be Sassanito to find the frag onto Brolin. Jimfat's charging to the Tech-9s are sort of working. In fact, a lot of work going through here. 3v2 and trades are back and forth, Mike.
They are indeed. They could just leave. They could just leave. Torshi's thinking about it. But Spink's now committed. Here on the Tetris. In quarter. Are BCG going to trust that the players are still here? Or do they get nervous? Ult up for the firebox, they're clearing it out. There's the swing. Tech-9's out, and Spink's sticking around in the angle. Sets up Nexa for a very nice 3K.
Feels like it's quieted down a little bit on the BCG round wins, of course. Just against pistols, so...
You know,
you don't want to
also remember how Dust2 started in it.
Yeah. maybe that's factoring into it as well.
Counter-terrorists win.
Cyclone bringing in some wise words. And some strong fist bumps. Little shoulder tap. No fist bump for Brolin. Just a gentle shoulder tap. We didn't see Cube's routine there. Fist bump was. Important metric of performance. Fist bumps on land per round for a coach.
MOUZ need a recovery round. And, well, already not a good start. Cypher's taking the space. They can't find him. Cypher gets 3 off that. You've got to be kidding me. A 4v2 for BCG. Now there's a response from Jimfat, but they're still at a disadvantage. Jimfat trying to tap away another player, but he's the one receiving damage. What is happening?
We've seen a couple of these rounds where Cypher loose in middle is just an absolute stone, completely disrupting the still pond of MOUZ's setup. Not ready for some of this aggression that BCG are throwing their way, and now that C4, claimable. And Nexus going to move up to do exactly that. He's looking for the fight. Nexus, oh, he's going to move right into the gap as Jimfat calls it clear. Can Spinks spot this? Spinks. Oh, now he's seen. But too late to tip off his teammate. It has to fall to Spinks to find the clutch. Already doubled up his kill count. Might just bring it all the way. Knock, though, will not give him the chance. Make sure to press the issue. Make sure to never let him turn around.
Oh, it's crazy that MOUZ even made it that close, given the way the round started. But yeah, it is Knock at the end, ensuring that the trade would be a certainty. And BCG, 7 on the board. This all started with MOUZ getting lackadaisical in their post plant, not timing it right on the retreat, and allowing Knock to slip in for not 1, not 2, but 3 frags with the AK, spraying down 3 fully loaded players in terms of weaponry and everything. That was an insane turn of events, and since that point, BCG have ridden the wave.
Looking for a fast play. Broen's ahead of his teammates, though. Not going to work out. Instead, his squad slides down the underpass. It's already limited in what can happen here. That Cypher holding court in the window continues to stack up the kills. Jimfat. Nothing doing here. Clean as you like for BCG. It's not just that they're winning rounds. It's that they're starting to look pretty commanding in doing so.
Yeah, this is not trending well for MOUZ. On a map that started off so promisingly, it just felt like everything, their protocols were down, everything was looking good, and then one slip up, a huge one to note, but still has turned things in favor of BCG. 8-3.
Talking through this final round.
I can't believe it, Mike. I really can't, because we've seen MOUZ look so good on this map over the last 5 times they've been on it, and now BCG is just tearing them apart.
Still the early map jitters, it seems, for MOUZ.
Yeah.
I am still reminded of how Dust2 went.
Yeah.
We're in the first half. Let's see if MOUZ can repeat that scoreline.
I don't know, it feels like we got here in a very different way, though.
That's true. That is indeed quite true. Brolan able to collect. Xertion destroyed, but Torji peers through that scope and plucks away Sausanito. Now look at how spread out these MOUZ players are. Torji's finding some space. Sorry, Spinks up to con. When Prime Tap's coming back through, might not expect a player to already be all the way into jungle. Timing on this is going to get very weird because Nock's rotating in. If he goes into market, would have been a blindside shot onto Nock, but instead now he's scoped up, looking for this. Nock has no idea. Spinks realizes faster. It falls to Prime Taps, and Spinks will be confirming a 4th round for MOUZ. A round snatched away by Knock completely changed the fortunes here on Mirage. From there on out, BCG found their spark. And now that spark might have ignited a bit of a revolution here. We were quite dire about their expectations headed into Mirage, but
Yeah.
BCG changing the script. They're headed into the strong side here.
Look, one thing we haven't...
Fact-finding mission. He's found those facts now, John. Here comes the hit. It's quick. There's no time to discuss because it's straight into the action. And once again, the early pistol round success continues here for MOUZ. Let's see if they can also salt this one away. Torji is moving up the underpass on that flank. Jimmy continues to collect. And while he does have to reload, there is no chance whatsoever. 4 of 4 pistols confirmed.
Yeah, that's one thing that's looked great for MOUZ is the pistol rounds. It just, BCG hasn't even been competitive in any of them. MOUZ have been dominant in every single instance, and they just have that on lockdown. Look at the flank that comes through as well to have impact for MOUZ, and right away they're off on the right foot here, getting a 5th round. And we talked about, you know, BCG looking strong in that first half of action, but I mean, you already mentioned it, Mike. It was 8-4 over on the previous map of Dust2, and MOUZ just went right to the finish line and only allowed BCG one more round afterwards. We'll see if we get a repeat here.
BCG really hoping to flip that script.
Yes.
Can't say I think it's going to happen in this round. This is, again, actually very reminiscent of that Dust2 second round, isn't it? Where they sat outside of tunnels for the entire round and then all died. We're all gonna sit top mid for a while. Time to make a move. Okay, we're gonna do something. Into B. Minute on the clock. Some of the logic of these kind of pistol rounds where you just wait in a round where you have nothing invested really is just to hope that they drain utility. What they didn't know is that MOUZ don't have utility. So there was nothing to drain. They committed to the guns instead. Jimmy detects. This is maybe a chance for a bomb plant. No, never mind. It was like a moment.
Chance.
Half a moment.
Completely erased in a moment's notice, right? And, well, I like the effort there with the pistols trying to come through with something, but the guns overpowered them. And I also don't really mind the investment into the guns and not necessarily favoring the util in an anti-eco situation, because usually you're up against those pistols and there's not really much invested on the other side. So it works out, and then you don't have to upgrade in the follow-up round, so the bonus kind of doesn't become as much of a factor, aside from the MP9 for Jimmy. Smoke's going to come out there immediately for BCG. Oh, look at the space gain here. Oh, great flashbang, but it kind of blinds both players. Back and forth we go, and finally that first frag comes through. A little later than expected, but it's Xertion onto Sassanito. Smoke pop works out for BCG now. Prime tap, some space gain. Back and forth we go. Still a 3v2 in favor of MOUZ as they're trying to hunt down Knock and Nexa.
Spinks nearly gets caught at the elbow. Just a bit wide. No, great anticipation. Head on a swivel here. But Nex is still so far away, so Knock needs to make a move solo. Spotted slipping out towards the pillar. They know he's low. They know he's low, and eventually they will collect. It falls to Nexa. Into the clutch. The leader's got to do it all himself. As he peeks straight into the spray. Util not what he needs right now. It's the AK instead, and Spinks maneuvering, sliding away from confrontation there, keeping himself alive, all to find that final killing blow.
Yeah, that was really nicely done by Spinks. It didn't even matter if he really connected on the shots in that fight on site, because he knew Brolin's right there to take care of anyone who tries to sideswipe around Market Edge, and there you go. Brolin does exactly that, and Spinks gets the last. So while it does get a little threatening for BCG, MOUZ get it back under their control, and they always did have it in their control technically because they had that man advantage gained early on that they continued to trade back and forth with. Sassanito wants to find some space top mid. Incendiary is thrown immediately for those top mid boxes, and I think he's been spotted. He has. Brolin taking a couple of shots to the shoulder, but Torji under pressure actually towards this A site. Has to hit the shots. Now he will. Doesn't hit the third. Cypher is able to trade that out at the very least and grab the op for himself. That is space gained into A. I don't know if it's going to yield a bomb play, but Sassanito with a massive play into connector. Brolin and Spinks are gone. 3v2 for BCG just like that.
Pants completely down there for MOUZ. Totally surprised. Had no idea where the contact was coming from. They're overlooking Jimmy, though. Didn't realize how close he had gotten, and now they know where Sausalito is. They know where he is. They have this confirmed. A smoke up. This is going to be very difficult for him to deny the bomb defuse.
Yeah.
There's nothing he can do here. He knows it. And the Tracers give him away at that. Tremendous effort from Sausalito. Made that possible. But unfortunately, they could not hang on.
It felt like that was the round that they'd finally crack through on, but look, that's such an effort, right? He gets those two players, clears up all that space, but Zershin and Jimfat doing
He's not
the
even
work.
supposed to be here, John.
I know. All right, well, that's true. But he is here, and he's doing work.
But he is here. And he's delivering. Spinks.
No, not
Gonna make sure that he's not here for the moment. We'll have to wait his turn for the next one. Ooh, but maybe a little overextension back into the fray. Zershin trying to continue up that fight in towards middle. Now the advantage has totally been given away here by MOUZ. Not playing coordinated, not playing together. Disjointed on it means that right now Brolon is on an island, and it is not a warm tropical one. Jimfat's gonna paddle over to him.
Yeah, I felt like MOUZ were upset with the way that they lost mid in that previous round and tried to push aggressively in both instances for Zershin and Spinks. And yes, they get one, but they really went a step too far. Still recoverable, of course, as BCG are trying to regroup in towards this A site, and that is where MOUZ are reading it.
They got the numbers in the right spot. This late play from Cypher, though, reminiscent of what Sausalito did with the Tech-9, could be a problem. You can tell MOUZ are paranoid about it this time, but he's been so patient. Huge first kill from Torji, and yes, now their backs turn. That's when Cypher strikes. Brolon, though, able to stem the bleeding to just one this time. And Torji, as he slips back, denying these windows further. Nice play from Brolon. The chance, the time, it's gone.
There's no time to plant.
Not possible. Prime Taps at least will be able to keep his AK up as Torji withdraws, but the glut of rounds continue here for MOUZ.
I mean, look, BCG are so involved in these last two rounds, but they just cannot get it across the finish line. MOUZ hanging in there, even in man disadvantaged situations. Making it work. Brolon, one of the big pieces. See Cypher there, try to activate, but Brolon's right there to get the immediate trade and silence him. 9-8 for MOUZ. And history is repeating itself in the worst way for BCG. Sausalito waiting in ramp, trying to get the jump on Brolon. He does. Zershin around the corner. Does he expect that? No. Couldn't have expected to. Torji connects on the Cypher as well, who is trying to slip out of Palace. Now a 4v3 advantage for MOUZ, and I think that BCG are just going to try and push out here, Mike.
I mean, they feel a little desperate.
Yeah.
But Zershin there, I mean, it's lucky that they did not go through the smoke, because that would have been the initial plan. That would have been the idea. After the ramp thrust goes through, the util comes over. And if they had Zershin, well, he had his crosshair in the right place. So now they put a little air in this. A little pause on. We've only got the one smoke left, but they have a bevy of flashes. So how do they want to deploy these? No real map controller information. For all they know, there's a push top mid and there's a push through apps. So they have to respect every possible angle. But if they can take this mid control, as we can see, it's been left very much vacant. Get cooking. They're going to head in towards B instead. And that means that while they will have a path towards this bomb site, they'll have no information en route. It's just going to be a bit of a hope and pray that they can get this bomb down. Now they're going loud. Now they're making their move in towards the site, into destruction.
Jeez. Absolutely slaughtered. Spinks with the 2K. Jimfat with one. All smiles on the MOUZ side, as they should be. things again trending their direction the second half. They've only lost 1 round in the second half of both maps combined. Right here, you know, it's a good opener from Sassanito, but the response from MOUZ is there immediately, and then they say, okay, let's just snowball into that B site and hope for the best that a bomb plant comes out of it, but the setup was right there for MOUZ, and now a timeout's going to be called because they're just desperately trying to find answers once more. And you're looking at the economy, it's really not that great. They're going to try to be creative about it, I imagine here, Mike.
If we keep up with the script here.
Yeah.
It went map point and then they found one. Am I correct on that?
That's right. Yes, you're correct. It was 12-8 and they found one.
13-9 here. So we'll see if the scriptwriters have gotten creative or if they are in fact just going to rinse repeat from last map. We don't actually get the script live. We have a teleprompter that tells us what's happening as it's happening. We don't have it ahead of time. Someone out there is going to believe me.
That's why I'm scared.
Someone's got their tinfoil hat and just said, I know it!
They revealed the secrets! No, we didn't. It's not true.
Or is it?
Oh
You'll never know. The only way you can find out is by spending vast amounts of time training a skill set to work in Counter-Strike production. And then by the time you find out the secret, you'll have dope skills and a cool job. So
it's all worth it.
It's a trap for Brolin. Call the ambulance, but not for MOUZ. As Torji just continues to knock down bodies, confirming the C4 at this point, and eliminating any hope BCG had in this round.
Okay.
This is crazy. Just to see the same thing happen in the second map as did in the first. Torji on lockdown on CT side right here. Sphinx and Xertion chiming in for the last two, but this is MOUZ not allowing BCG to get even near the bomb sites. No bomb plants to help support their economy means that util is a little bit lighter than they'd like, but they still got a decent chunk to work with in this round. 4 AKs in the Galil. MOUZ have some presence in window, actually a lot of presence in mid right now. There's Xertion. Oh, he lines 2 up. Oh my goodness, bad to worse here for BCG. Brolin sees Cypher back turned to him. Prime Taps gets one, but it's not nearly enough. Knock, last one standing, has to try and win a 1v4. He does get the first, throws the smoke down on the ground. They're probably going to chase him out, but they don't have to. They can wait for him to make the move.
He's stuck, and he knows it. Just trying to isolate a fight around the smoke, but Torji was waiting for that head to pop up above the horizon just to knock it down. It's the same story. BCG, all this momentum, all this hooting and hollering and hope that they give us in the first half, only to find themselves getting completely smothered when they swap sides.
Well, only 1 round in the second halves for BCG.
All right.
Man,
If BCG can repeat the
they need
scoreline.
something. Yeah, get the
12-9. Let's make it weird.
Mike just
Make it
wants his
creepy.
prediction to be right, guys. That's what he said in the green room.
Hey, it's looking good.
Oh my God.
BCG finally finding their footing to find one more. They're not ready to say quit here on Mirage. They're not ready to be done. And they're not ready to let this one slip away. Next, as he gets on the ladder, this could be the finishing blow. It's being watched for, though. Can't keep dipping back in. You messed up the first time. You can't try again, but Sassanito might be bailing him out. Falls to Jimmy to see if he can deny history being written once more. Deny what seems inevitable.
Bomb has been planted.
The bomb is down. The clutch is on. The Fiddish Phenom looks to find 2 kills. He's taking the first. Doesn't have information on Prime Taps. He's looking the wrong way. And so a clutch up from Prime Taps will bring it through at least 1 more round. History set to repeat itself if MOUZ can close here and now.
That would be ridiculous if we get two 13-9 recoveries from MOUZ in almost identical circumstances. Not almost, actually. It was identical. Yeah, the rounds were identical at the half.
I think identical. The first half was pretty identical too, actually.
Yeah. A little bit of a mishap, of course, that we didn't see in the first half, I would say, of that
Somebody
first map.
has glitched out the Matrix. Please unplug or replug. One call Anders. Matrix is taking over.
Roland, what can you do?
Through the smoke. I mean, that's going to be a freebie on the next. Can Sausalito trade it? There's no flashbang for this. That's what's dire. It's just a question of whether you keep looking Sausalito's way, and eventually they're going to look away. So as you find this on the fade, is Broilan ready for it? No. But everybody's here. Everybody's going to come funneling out of ticket like it's a clown car. And so this one will end just as Dust2 did. 13-9. It's MOUZ who claim it. In like a lion for BCG, but out like a mouse.
Wow, that is absolutely insane from MOUZ, honestly. Like, it looked